And we're good. All right. Hello, Lethbridge. So, as usual, we're in front of your screen once again with Facebook Live. And my name is John. And on behalf of the show, of course, my colleague Lou, and the technical side is behind the camera, as always, is our friend Mr. Randy. So, Pinoy Hour is back again. And of course, with their Exercise Your Rights, Lethbridge 2017. We have a special guest once again, of course, and thank you for having us, just to let you know. And before we start, of course, I'd like to say thank you to our viewers. And of course, this will be our final guest for our Just FM portion, and also for our Pinoy Hour coverage for Lethbridge. And without further ado, let me just introduce to you our future consular of Lethbridge, Madam Aileen Burke.
Thanks for having me, guys. This is great.
Thank you.
I don't know. I think it's mutual.
It's a pleasure are all ours. But yeah, we got what is his name?
This is Toby.
Toby, yeah. So Toby is with us, and of course he wants some rub. So yeah, and thank you for joining us. And of course, before we begin, I would like to ask one thing. Madam Burke, how is the ABC engine going? Are you kind of like hitting the wall, or are you just starting up and for the election period?
There's no time to hit a wall.
Okay, there you go.
There's no time. We're going strong. I've got a really great team behind me who's helping push me through, and so we've got people out on the doorsteps, and we've got the signs going up, and the forums just started yesterday, so things are going full speed ahead.
There you go. Yeah. The ABC engine is full steam.
That's right.
So
great momentum.
And of course, there's no such thing as tired for Miss Burke here. Let me just touch the weather side of our province. Oh yeah, before we actually do that,
let's have our guest introduce himself.
So can you introduce yourself?
Yeah,
and yes,
so,
please.
As I said, I'm Aileen Burke, and I've been in Lethbridge for about 13 years now. I think I moved here after I graduated from Vauxhall, which is a little tiny town just east of here, I think it is.
Nice.
So I have been involved in many community groups here in the city. I currently work for CMHA Lethbridge, and I help with the accreditation and stats reporting for our Housing First programs. And I also work for a public affairs firm right now as well, based out of Toronto. So, and then I'm also doing my master's, finishing up my master's in Housing First and Political Science. So, busy, but good. It's really awesome.
That's a very good portfolio right there. And of course, well, we would begin with our light questions first. So, how do you like the weather here in Lethbridge? And do you think that's one of the factors why so many immigrants, such as me, chose to move here compared to other big cities such as Calgary or Edmonton?
I love and hate the weather here. It changes so quickly sometimes that it's hard to get accustomed to. And the wind, I don't care how many people say you get used to it, you never get used to the wind. At least I have never gotten used to the wind. I used to get migraines really badly from the wind too, and so it used to be awful. But the weather here, for the most part, is very beautiful, and we get tons of sunshine, which is always lovely. As for the immigration population, I would imagine that's a part of it for sure. I think also Lethbridge used to be designated an immigration hub, and so we had a lot of services provided here too that made it easier for immigration to happen. So I think it's probably both.
All right. So
definitely milder weather compared to Edmonton and
less snow as
less
well.
Snow,
far less snow.
And when we go to the west, where we see Vancouver, oh, there's no snow, but there's a lot of rain.
Yes.
And no sunshine.
Well, there you go. It's great. That's what, I think it's close to what do you call this? England or somewhere there.
Oh yeah, I've heard comparisons. I mean, I've never been to England, so I don't know, but I have heard the comparison for Vancouver to England. I personally would take the sunshine over the rain any day of the week.
Yes, ma'am. But not the wind, I
I could do without the wind. I would not complain.
All right, so I guess that's a Chinook thing of
yeah, I mean, and it's
Lethbridge.
unique to Lethbridge, which is really cool. It's part of what makes Lethbridge
Right.
awesome. But it's windy.
Yeah.
It's super windy.
I heard some friends of mine mentioning like this is the Chicago of Canada.
Yeah, that is a common comparison.
That much?
Yeah, they call it Chicago because of the windy city there.
But not the snow, eh?
Oh no, no, just no.
No,
It's not
we're
Chicago.
really lucky where snow is concerned. I mean,
That's it.
environmentally, maybe it's less lucky, but for pedestrian-wise, less snow has been working in our favor.
I have no
So,
complaints.
so our second question is, so aside from the awesome people here at Lethbridge, like us, what do you think makes Lethbridge stand out compared to the larger cities like Edmonton and Calgary?
I think there's a lot of reasons that make Lethbridge stand out, and I think part of it is it's a small city with big city feel, and so they have
Yes.
all the resources and all the services that big cities have, but we're still a small enough community that we still know our neighbors and that we still that we know we can say hello to each other walking down the street, right?
That's right.
Yeah,
Close-knit.
we're a close-knit community for sure, and we support each other as well in that. I think too, Lethbridge is such a vibrant cultural hub where we have so many different cultures and immigration groups, and we have our refugees, and I think that different variety of cultures really brings Lethbridge, makes Lethbridge a very different city from what Edmonton and Calgary are.
Yeah, that stands out our city, and that's what I embrace with Lethbridge itself. And I'm really proud being a Lethbridgean. And
I'm glad.
So before we go to our next question, you said you're doing masters in political science?
Yes.
Oh, so you're really getting ready to do a lot of public service and know more about the political situation here in not just in Lethbridge, but
Right.
in Canada, right?
Yep, that's the hope. That's the hope. My master's is almost done, which is great. But it's definitely been an eye-opening experience. It's gotten me, given me a lot of knowledge with some of our, especially our social services here in the city. And so it's really insightful to be able to bring those issues to the forefront and be like, hey, we have some room for improvement in some of these areas that we should be addressing. So.
Oh, that's good. I took political science too. when I
Oh,
was
did
in
you?
college.
Awesome.
yeah.
What was your? Were you like an IR fan or a comparative politics fan or local government? Did you have a certain stream you enjoyed?
Well, I wanted to I took a double major in political science and sociology,
Oh.
so I'm more on the economic side of politics. I did want to be a lawyer, but you know.
Oh, good for you.
So
That's amazing.
anyway, well, our next question is good. Yeah?
I got our Asian side now. So, what kind of impact do you think the Asian community has on the city of Lethbridge itself?
I think there's so much that the Asian community brings to this to the city, and I mean we have our Asian market that has been integral to our city. That
Thank
I know
you.
there's been a huge, also a huge movement in our city to help the, and now I'm of course blanking on the name, but
Is it the LA?
the
Is it
Chinese.
Chinese
Umami?
community,
Yeah, and so like there's huge movements trying to save these historical places, and
Yes.
and I think we have such that the Asian community here is so integral to helping us thrive, right? And so we have so much of your culture has become integral to Lethbridge, and
Thank
I
you.
think that is it's imperative that we recognize that and that we celebrate that, right? And it's so exciting to be able to sit here and chat with you guys,
Yes.
and you know to be able to see how multiculturalism really works
Yes, ma'am.
in its truest forms, right?
That's
And
right.
so I don't know, that might sound cliche, but it's really exciting for an individual such as myself to be able to witness on a daily basis in all the community groups I'm in. And so I mean, certainly there's barriers, and there are certainly barriers that we can overcome. But I think we're making progress, and I think that is amazing. So.
Yeah, 100%. We agree. That makes the city of Lethbridge a lot more vibrant with all these different ideas, cultures, and traditions, respecting and like I said, going together and to improve and make the city a lot better, right?
Thank you for that kind words coming from an Asian like me, and that's really heart warming. Thank you so much.
No, thank you.
And
So, talking about different cultures now, a lot of Asians, of course, are trying to learn the sport of hockey. We support, of course, all of our teams here in Lethbridge, the Kodiaks, the Pronghorns, the basketball team, the Hurricanes.
Lethbridge Bulls.
That's right.
We have a
So,
lot.
what do you think? What's your suggestion when you do become one of the city councilors of the city to improve and add more to our sporting events, activities, and facilities? What would be your suggestion or focus or ideas to make a little Lethbridge a little bit
Make it
more
sporty?
active,
A little more active.
more physically
Yes.
fit?
I mean, we have Lethbridge Sports and Culture, the Lethbridge Sports Council, that is really working on some of these
So we
initiatives.
do have a
We do, yeah. And I know they've got a big campaign going on right now, 150 YQL, do 150 different active things in Lethbridge. So I think supporting initiatives such as that is really important to build our community and give ideas for low barrier access to some of these activities. I think municipal government plays a role in supporting and promoting their local teams. And I think it's their job to highlight, bring to attention and highlight what we're doing here and to make those activities as barrier-free as possible. So providing low cost recreational facilities, providing spaces for people to actually participate in these sports, I think is absolutely integral to being able to maintain an active community that also brings community together at the same time.
Like camps as well.
That's
make it
right.
easier for kids.
Yeah, I think all of that stuff plays a really integral role. Vibrancy in Lethbridge falls under so many categories, right? But we have a very large sports community in this city, and I think that is one of those areas that we really need to be able to point to with pride and be like, hey, we have these million teams here. Like, look at how awesome we are. And I think that brings in some tourism, and that brings in some competition, and that brings in some money, and so like it's beneficial all the way around. Yeah.
Sponsorship, businesses.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah.
That's right on the ball. I'm touching side because I'm a fellow Lethbridge person. What can you say? Because it's a sports area. How about the ATB arena? What can you say? Like it's right beside us.
It's beautiful. It'll be really nice when it's finished. I think they have done a really good job at building and making those collaborative relationships with some of our businesses here. And I think it's going to be a really big part growing West Lethbridge and bringing that kind of bridging west a little further with the rest of the community.
It's very promising, right? And imagine that maybe 2-5 years from now we might see Coldplay. Like
that would be amazing.
But
I would not complain about that.
That's it, no, because like the ATV Center is huge. They have like a large capacity that expands everything. But you know, one can dream. But
I would bring it, please.
Well,
Lethbridge.
it's gonna happen.
Yeah. Maybe when Ms. Burke is in office.
I'll advocate. We'll start a Twitter campaign for Coldplay to come to Lethbridge.
That's it. And I heard that he's a really nice guy.
Excellent.
And he does philanthropy. And if he knows that the city is like Bon Jovi did, like recently he sang for the kids, and they're made up.
Right.
Why not? Why not bring them here?
Why
Yeah,
not?
it's all not just about the money. It's it's about making people feel
Reaching
good
out.
in the charity.
Let's make
yes.
that happen.
Yeah, that would be one day. Now, on a serious note, like
The Lethbridge Police.
what we call Lethbridge Finest. So the Lethbridge Police is doing a great job. Not just the police itself, the firefighters, the EMS, and so on and so forth. Those Lethbridge Finest is doing a great job keeping our city safe and, of course, secured. What is your message to our local community, and how can we all contribute to a safer, I'm included, us, safer, cleaner, and better city from here?
So I think this is threefold, and I think part of it is getting to know your neighbors and being aware of what's happening in your community, and if you see something that doesn't look right, to be willing to say something. And so you're more likely to do that if you know your neighbors. I also think that aside from our emergency services, we really need to be supporting our harm reduction strategies. And so those are things like our diversion outreach team and our mobile street outreach and the Arch's Safe Needle exchange programs and their environment management system. These are all things that we really need to focus on, because it enhances the safety and the cleanliness of our city, protects the persons who may find themselves in unfortunate situations, but also frees up our emergency services to be at places that they are maybe more needed at. And so if we're able to act preventatively rather than reactive, we will be able to maintain a safe community that we have. We're pretty lucky here in Lethbridge.
That's right.
For safety wise, but I think you need all three to be able to continue forward.
And work together harmoniously, so it's a lot better with coordination too. We've been helping Waterton, right? I've heard that our firefighters are even going to Waterton to help our neighboring towns.
Yeah, building community, right? And
That's
so
it.
helping your neighbors and being there.
Yeah, and being a one Alberta.
Yes.
I see it that way, because I believe that's a calling, and we are always behind your back, like from the police, from the firefighters, the EMS. We always support them, and 100%. But of course, they put themselves on the line every day.
Yeah.
And I don't find that as an occupation. I find it as a sacrifice, actually. And hats off to them, and of course the chief of police, and for keeping the city safe.
Yep, they do a phenomenal job.
That's it. And how they interact with the community and our main relationship with them. And 2 thumbs up to all those risk their lives every day and keeping us safe. And of course, we thank you from the bottom of our heart.
Absolutely.
And
that being said, once you get elected, so after you get elected, what will be your primary focus? What will be your platform, and pretty much the ideals you want to put into council in order to be a better representative for everybody else?
That's a good question. So I have 4 key priorities on my platform, and those consist of addressing homelessness and poverty in the city. We have the second highest child poverty rate in all of Alberta in the city, and it's a fact that largely gets unnoticed. And I think that it's time to shift our priorities a little bit to be able to circumvent some of these issues. My second priority is safe, inclusive communities, so building up our neighborhood associations, building up those capacities, knowing our neighbors, having community-wide events where we can utilize our beautiful gardens for family-friendly, barrier-free access, things like that. My third is supporting building small business presence, so trying to simplify the process for small business startup, removing some of that bureaucracy, creating a how-to, if you will, that's straightforward for business to move forward. And then my fourth is term limits for council members. Just to help, right now in Alberta, 88% of incumbents are sitting elected officials will be re-elected. And a lot of it has to do with name recognition. So in order to promote diversity on our council and to switch up and new ideas and fresh perspectives, I'm proposing that we look at the idea of term limits to help promote some of that change that will follow with the change of the community that we live in.
Yes.
And so those are kind of my four key priorities. But ultimately, my sole goal during this whole electoral process, this campaign period, has been to connect with as many community groups as I can to see what their issues are. Because ultimately, our jobs as city council members are to represent what you guys have to say,
yes.
right? And so if I don't know what the Asian community issues are, or if I don't know what the disability community issues are, I need to have the gumption to go to them, speak to them, figure out what their issues are, and be the voice to bring those forward to council. And then we can make decisions based on that. And through doing that, we build those things. We address issues like poverty and homelessness. We build those safer and more inclusive communities. But we can't do that if we're not talking to the people who live in these communities. And so that basically sums it up in a nutshell, in a not so small nutshell.
So let me just see it straight. Like you mentioned that you want to be the voice of the voiceless.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
I like I like
Steal
it.
your words.
Well, there you go. So I mean, take this opportunity. I mean, enough about our questions. I believe we throw it out, all of them for you. This is the moment where I know you have your 4 high points in the Seoul agenda. This will be your opportunity to tell them if we missed some platforms, or you want to tell them what else we missed, or
I don't know that you necessarily missed anything. This has been a very thorough interview, and I appreciate it. I think it's always helpful to have these conversations where just because you have in my case, 4 priorities doesn't mean that there aren't secondary issues that you're concerned about, right? And so I think transit is obviously an issue, and our waste management is obviously an issue, and those types of award system, for instance, I would be a huge proponent of that.
Yes.
And so these are what I call secondary issues that are still absolutely imperative to address in our city. And I think transit has a lot of traction right now, which is huge, because I think in the next electoral cycle, once new council has been elected, that we'll see some progress with that. So still important, absolutely, but just not. You only have so much space on to be able to get your point across.
It's just something that I absolutely agree, and that I want to add. Our honorable guest here saying that the term limits and award system too will make the playing field and representation a lot more diverse. Yeah. Also, we've heard that and we've researched too that the turnout for voter turnout is very low, which is one of the reasons that a lot of the incumbents although they're doing a good job. If the other 70% of registered voters will go out and vote, there'll be more, not just fresh ideas from the new council candidates, but also from new voters, and that's one of the reasons why we're doing it. We're doing this go out, let me vote for that 70% to go out, because that also will level the playing field for new candidates as well, right?
And I think having a wide array of candidates. So this time around we have 29 candidates. Wow. I think 8 are women, and I think 2 of us are under the age of 35. So I think broadening that field is good. We get more diversity. We get more accurate representation. But it's one thing to have your candidate field look like that, but if your council doesn't look like that as well, then you're missing out on a huge demographic to represent, right? So right now we have 2 women on council. Well, I'm pretty sure there's more than 25% women population and the reality is the population under 35 is one of our biggest voting blocks in the city, and we have nobody on council who's under 35, right? And so if we're able to bring some of those voices to the council table who are living that experience, we might be able to engage more population and bring that voter turnout up higher and be able to bring light to more of those issues that seem to be on the sidelines. And so that's kind of, it's part of the motivation to run, right?
That's correct.
To bring those voices forward. I mean, I'm 31, I am a student, I'm a woman. I fit 3 of these categories that I personally feel are not
Amply represented.
Yeah, that's a good word for it.
Sure.
On council, and so I think there's certainly some room for improvement in that regard.
And if I may also add, like you mentioned, 70%. Hopefully, that's a dream. Where we're trying to have at least 40,
especially the
at least
students
40.
and younger.
Small steps, baby steps.
7%. that may be a dream, but what our honorable guest mentioned, like why not injecting some new minds in the council? Why not like some, like that will rally us, and of course a new blood, like a new face for our community.
New vision.
New vision, like
an additional vision to the current vision that.
Why not? Because it might be redundant, but of course, a new mind there wouldn't hurt a thing. And of course, that's what we're trying to send the message across, that to exercise, like the 70% dream, and of course, let's be out there and of course express ourselves to be the change and make the change. So at the end of the day, it's for our city. And of course, I believe our honorable guest wouldn't disagree on that one.
Not at all.
But to top that off, you have some schedules like coming. I know the SOCPA was yesterday, and I've heard about your agenda there. And there's an upcoming, like I believe the important one is on October 2nd. Like you can invite our audience.
Yeah, I'm like, we have a forum tomorrow.
Tomorrow,
actually.
September 28th.
We have the Youth Advisory Committee is hosting a forum at the U of L at 6 o'clock. And it's open floor, so community is welcome to be there too. We have a meet and greet at Norbridge tomorrow as well from 1 till 3. And then I think that's it for this week. And then next week we have another 3 forums. I think they're all on my day timer, but there is if you go to lethbridgeaccountability.com, then it has a list of every forum and meet and greet that you can possibly find, that you can meet all of the candidates.
Very good. And you can invite them. Miss Aileen Burke here is active on his social media. You can invite them. Like I see her updates, I see her platforms. Anything that we missed can be viewed there. You can invite them to add you up,
so you can find me on Facebook. I'm trying to remember what the tag is. It's ABC, Aileen Burke for Council.
There you go.
I'm on Twitter at Leans, L-E-E-N-E-S. I have a website, www.aileenburke4council.ca. And then all my contact information is on there. I have a phone number, I have an email address. You can feel free to message me on Facebook or email me or call me, and I usually get back to you within 24 hours. So I look forward to hearing from you. If you would like to reach out, I'm happy to meet with you as well. These are the types of conversations I enjoy the most about the campaign trail, so definitely feel free to contact me.
And any final messages for all the viewers and those who haven't decided yet, and if they're even going to vote, make sure you vote.
Please vote.
Yes, so
please vote.
Your message, ma'am?
I really just want to thank you guys for your time and for actually putting in so much time and effort and reaching out to all of us to do this. This has been amazing and a pleasure and a privilege on my end to be able to be involved in this conversation.
Well, yes.
But aside from that, I would ask, obviously, I ask that you vote for me. My campaign slogan is as easy as ABC, so thank Aileen Burke for Council, and on October 16th, please go vote.
Exercise your rights.
Exercise your rights. And there's like advanced poll, if I'm not mistaken.
Saturday. Every Saturday from here until election day. There's advanced voting, and there's different places that you can vote. And I know on campus has an advanced voting place. City Hall has advanced voting this weekend. I think we all got things in the mail, and if you go to lethbridge.ca/election, it has all of the information about where you can find advanced voting polls and stuff too. So lots of information out there.
That's really great. So there's no reason why you shouldn't be voting.
There you go. So it's an open invitation from our honorable guest, Madame Aileen Burke. I usually do use Madame because I'm from the East.
Okay.
I'm
I was
Montreal.
going to ask you about that, so
Montreal.
that's okay. You can just call me Aileen, and that's okay too.
Because every day we use like Madame. They have removed Mademoiselle.
Okay.
But yeah, they have implemented Madame all the way. So
Whatever works.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, again, that's Exercise Your Rights with Lethbridge 2017. We got the honorable guests, of course, Miss Aileen Burke, and invites you to vote out there and express your rights, the rights of suffrage.
That's right.
To be...
Bring a friend with you.
Yes. All those pet lovers too, see?
I see. That's we're gonna bring in the SPCA
There you go. That's right.
for these young fellows. But yeah, we thank you once again on behalf of our crew. Of course, our technical side, Mr. Randy. We got our co-anchor here, Mr. Lou, and of course, my name is John. All archives, all history will be posted on our wall, which is PinAsia Media, along with Jess FM, along with Miss Burke's social media. We'll be all posting there. Any questions, of course, like I mentioned, it's an open invitation. Send it in there. There's an area that we can send message. I think we can post wall.
There you can either post a wall message or public message, or you can direct message me through Messenger. So both options are available. Take your pick, whatever you prefer.
So there you go. So again, it's an open invitation. Please, if you have something to address, she's an open door, and I believe everyone is welcome.
Absolutely. The more the merrier.
There you go. The more the merrier. I like that. And of course, don't forget to watch our next show, which is tomorrow. Will be with the Honorable Mayor of the town of Tabor, which is Mr. Andrew Prokop. And we'll be with him around 3:30 p.m. Mountain Time. And of course, it doesn't stop from here, from Ms. Burke. And we bid you good luck on your journey to office.
Much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. And thank you on our behalf. And of course, the Asian community thanks you. And it's a very an educative evening. And I hope we send the message out. And let's get out and vote and exercise your right. So my name is John, and we're saying goodbye for now. And of course, we'll be back with you for tomorrow. And check our updates on our walls. And kindly check out Ms. Burke's agenda and platform on his social media. But for now, we bid you a good evening and have a good day.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for your
Thank you so
time.
much.
Thank you.